2024 just ended. And this was a fantastic show. I mean, it was absolutely fantastic. With maybe one minor blight, but that's more on me than them. But before I get into that, I want to talk about the crowd for tonight. The crowd was absolutely hard, so the other people. But don't worry, I'm sure AEW will be dead within 6 months. Don't worry about that. Yeah, AEW isn't going anywhere. So we kick off Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher semifinals for the Continental Championship. The winner of this match would go on to face the winner of Kazuchika Okada versus Ricochet, which is a match I was particularly looking forward to. And I really I count one page in the other. But I'll get there when I get there. So we got Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher. This was just a car crash from the word go. This was an absolutely brutal affair. So Kyle Fletcher starts up just absolutely kicks, just absolutely kicking Will Ospreay to start off, driving him into the corner. Will Ospreay gets Kyle. I'm not gonna go for the spot for spot, by the way. This is just the beginning of the match with Tom River Vivity. Will Ospreay gets Kyle Fletcher into the corner, he gives him a chop. They exchange some forearms. They get to the outside of the ring. And Will Ospreay tried to use a step. Will Ospreay tried to use a step to vault off to get at Kyle. Kyle catches him in midair and powerbombs him on the apron, on the edge of the ring. So I just thought that was great too. I'd expect nothing yet from Kyle Fletcher's new attitude. This new attitude he has. I can say this was a brutal match. Kyle, we got him using the hidden blade. We got Ospreay using the hidden blade. Ospreay hitting a power bomb, hitting a backbreaker, some forearms, some headbutts. We got a Stormbreaker, and eventually, well, we didn't get a Stormbreaker, but eventually what surprised me is at the end of the match, Will Ospreay wins. With the end of the match, kind of surprised me anyway, because Kyle Fletcher had Will Ospreay dead right. He was in the corner, and Kyle gave him the kicks that he does. We'll try to give him the kick that he does. But Ospreay countered and caught him with a Styles cast for the victory. So, like I say, yeah, that surprised me. I did not do the match justice because, like I say, I didn't go for it spot for spot. And even if I did go through it spot for spot, I still wouldn't do it justice. Go out there and watch it for yourself. But this was absolutely brutal. I mean, Ospreay was gussing buckets. I mean, there was blood all over the ring. I mean, he was just gussing buckets. But you get, at the end, Ospreay does win with a dog cast. Which, I mean, I love Ospreay, but I kind of wish Kyle won. But that pays into the final match, which was just brilliant. Next up, we have Ospreay's Broody Eyed. And next up, we have Ricochet versus Kazuchika Okada in another semifinal match. We get two semifinal match back to back. And yeah, cause I was particularly looking forward to this one. And it was good, but it didn't go like I thought it would. But there's a reason for that. You had Kazuchika Okada countering Ricochet at every turn. Just Ricochet didn't get a yard in at the beginning. But toward the end, he caught Okada with a few kicks. He hit good, but Okada barely extended in the energy. We got elbows, we got some counters from Ricochet, we got some kicks from Ricochet. At one point, Ricochet caught Okada with a gut buster, which really seemed to damage Okada if you look at it. But I can say Okada didn't really extend the out of energy because the commentators making sort of remind you Okada is a tournament wrestler. He's won 4 tournaments in Japan, the G1 Climax, most brutal tournament in Japan. He knows how to wrestle a tournament. And at the end of all, this wasn't really about the match. This was about the angle afterwards. As you can imagine, a tiny part of me thought Ricochet would win, but as you can imagine, Okada beat Ricochet with the Rainmaker. One Rainmaker all it took, which I was kind of surprised by, but one Rainmaker all it took. And so Ricochet, as you can imagine, he responded. He responded at the yard and everything, and he would be. No shame using Okada, but we'd all be, taken aback that we yacht in such an important match. But Ricochet down the dumps about it, yes. Swerve comes out. Swerve comes out and he says, you've done a lot of talking. And one thing he said that struck me in particular was, you said you'd win the tournament. And I said, if you didn't win the tournament, I'd embarrass you. I'd come out here and embarrass you. So, he brings out, I guess this is a thing with AW crowd, I don't know exactly why, but Swerve has Prince Nana bring out some toilet paper, and he hands them out to the crowd like huge, great toilet paper. Doesn't hand them all out, because do you know how expensive that is? We remember the pandemic, but Prince Nana comes out with some toilet paper and hand them to the people in the front rows and people in the back row, I guess, hand them out. And on the count of 3, they cover Ricochet in toilet paper. And Ricochet just standing in the middle of the ring, which I wonder why he is. At the time, I wondered why he was, but he's just seething. And this might unlock a darker part of his personality where he's not paying the crowd so much. He doesn't let the crowd get to him as much. He just becomes maybe not an out-and-out vicious wrestler, but he's more vicious than he's been. Because, like I say, I pictured Okada and him having a better match than they did. Ricochet giving Okada a better run for his money. but he didn't do that. And like I say, Okada comes out this relatively unscathed, relatively unharmed, as compared to Ospreay anyway. This was a good match for what it was. Hopefully, with Angle afterwards, like I say, hopefully it'll unlock something in Ricochet that he really needs. We get MJF versus Adam Cole for the Dynamite Diamond Ring. And this was where I talked about one Yellow Point being more on me than them, because in this match, for some reason I got really tired, so I sort of drifted off at this match. But I saw some of it. I pretty saw MJF won. I remember Kyle O'Reilly coming out, but I thought it was a good match for what it was. Not as good as Retsucon, I'm sure, but I thought it was really good for what it was. Sorry I can't tell you much more than that. We got Mariah May versus Thunder Rosa. Oh, MJF won, by the way. I'm pretty sure. We got Thunder Rosa versus Mariah May for the AEW Women's title in the Tijuana Street Fight match, which as the title implies, is basically just a street fight. Just Thunder Rosa and Mexicans, Tijuana and all that. So they have this match, and it's brutal. Well, not much brutal, but it is compared to final the Continental Classic, which will be Wasbane and Kazuchika Okada. This was a really good match for what it was. Really good weapon spots, really good wrestling. And at one point, Thunder Rosa's dad is in the front row, and he has a walking stick because he's an older gentleman, so he has a walking stick. So Mariah May grabs it, and she sort of makes fun of him for it. As you do. This is a woman who stabbed her own mother, so what death wants to go to. But Thunder Rosa ends up getting the walking stick, and she wears Mariah May out. She chokes Mariah May with a chain. She sends Mariah's head into a chair. All that good stuff. Until eventually, Mariah May, there's a table at ringside. So eventually, Mariah May, pile drives or tombstones. She just puts Thunder Rosa through a table, basically, and she gets the win, because it's also a false count anyway. So she gets the win. Mariah May's your champion. Expected, and this wasn't a particular match I was looking forward to or anything, but it was a real good match for what it was. I mean, no match on this card was particularly bad. I was looking forward to some more than others. So Mariah May wins. She's still the AEW Women's Champion. But next up, we get one of the greatest women's matches from North America that I've seen. I mean, maybe I'm a little isolated because I don't watch much besides WB and AEW, but for my money, it's one of the greatest women's matches in North America that I've seen. Mercedes Moné versus Chris Statlander for the TBS title. This is the second time they've met. We get he had a good accent, he had a good wrestling. We had six or seven, I'm pretty sure seven. Um, seven, yak, three Amigo CPXs, yak Eddie Guerrero used to do from Mercedes Monet at one point. But I'm getting ahead of myself. But this was a really good match for what it was, some good power moves. At one point, Chris Daniel catches Mercedes Monet, walks around with her, and slams on the apron. We get some missing wrestling, some good ankle lock from Mercedes Monet from a Big Bang Theory attempt. We get a Monet maker, statement maker on on the floor to Chris Daniel, and I thought this was it, to be honest, but in one of the best counter spots I've seen too. At the millisecond, Chris Daniel just beats the count into the ring to keep the match going. We get a lot of we get a rollback spot out of an NTF spot. So Chris Daniel doesn't submit or anything, doesn't tap out. We get Chris Daniel catching Mercedes Monet in an F5 maneuver. We get some good athleticism between the two. I'm sorry I'm just being general about this, but I don't want to you can also just watch the match for yourself on the GPS. I don't remember exactly all the spots that went down chronological order, so I'm sorry about that. But yeah, go out of your way to watch this. Chris Daniel versus Mercedes Monet 2 for the TBS title. Even the commentators put over that it was a much better match than the first one. And the first one was great. We get so Mercedes Monet wins. She doesn't make a tap out or anything, which is good. I'm thinking we'll get a third match where Chris Daniel beat her. Because this was such a good match, I don't even mind that Chris Daniel didn't win. She could have won. It just wasn't her night. So I'm excited where this will go. So Mercedes Monet still your TBS champion. Mercedes Monet gets emotional after the match, which is good. I don't know if that was planned or not, but it was real good. We get some frustration from both women that they can't put the other away, everything, so it was very good. So Mercedes Monet, your TBS champion, she's going in to wrestle Dynasty January 5th, to wrestle not Mina Sawakawa, but some other Josie. I forget who it is, I'm sorry. So I'm pretty sorry Mitt could not get versus Will Hobbs for the international title. Really good power match between the two. We got some knees. We got Kenote working over the knee of Will Hobbs. We get a lot of power moves from both of them. I thought Will Hobbs was gonna win, but Kenote to get the one, but not by much. Will Hobbs had a better showing than I thought he would have did. I'm sorry I'm sort of talking about that in general too, but it was just a good power match, a good hard fight. You get, next up, we got a really a contender for match of the year. No joke, just a really a contender for match of the year. Will Ospreay versus Kazuchika Okada for the Continental title. This was just undescribable, but I'm gonna try to describe it as best I can. We get so Ospreay comes out banded up. He looks like he's half dead on the D. He comes out all banded up as opposed to Kazuchika Okada, which who remember is relatively fresh. That wouldn't be the case by the end of this match. But Kazuchika Okada's relatively fresh. We get some attempts at Oz cutters, we get drop kicks, we get hidden BAs, we get rainmakers from both men. We get Spanish flies, we get knockdowns, we get headbutts. And I could say one of the greatest matches I've seen. The ending stretch, we get Kazuchika Okada catching Will Ospreay as he goes for the Oscar. Yeah, as he goes for the Oscar. Kazuchika Okada catching him with the drop kick. He caught him with the art of drop kicks, by the way. But he catches him with a particular drop kick. There's another great chain of wrestling sequences before Okada eventually gets the Rainmaker for the victory. Just one of the greatest matches that I've seen. Since very few men can beat Kazuchika Okada. And right before the moment of the night for me happened, I thought, okay, the one man that really can beat Kazuchika Okada decisively is Kenny Omega. Because that 2 out of 3 falls match is the greatest match I've seen. Just the art of psychology, a art of storytelling, a art of knockout drag, out endurance in that match. But eventually Omega does bet Okada 2 out of 3 falls for the IWGP title. So Okada wins. Okada still was the Continental champion. We get some nice respect between Okada and Ospreay, which is great. Honestly, I thought Okada would hit the Rainmaker on Ospreay again, but he thankfully didn't. There was just some good respect. There was just handshake between the two. So at this point, I'm kind of convinced they're sort of milking it to where you don't think it's gonna happen. But at this point, I'm sort of convinced that Kenny Omega is gonna come out. But he doesn't. Christopher Daniel comes out, and Christopher Daniel says, Okada, congratulations on retaining your Continental title. Normally, I would walk up there, this would be the moment where I'd walk up there and present you your championship. But I can't. Because as of this moment, I am no longer an EVP. But this man is. And at this point, I nearly out my mind. So Kenny Omega comes out to confront Okada. He's reinstated as an EVP because he's been out for surgery. And he goes to present Okada his Continental Championship. And the commentators are putting over if Ospreay and Kazuchika Okada is A plus tier, then Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada is S tier. It is a legendary rivalry. Which, if you remember, they do have unfinished business. Not only is it the greatest trilogy of matches I've ever seen in my life, but Okada owed them something. Because the aftermath they had together, Kenny beat him. Okada's beaten him twice, but the aftermath they've had together was so legendary. And Omega beat him for the IWGP title 2 out of 3 falls. So that was just fantastic. So we got Kenny Omega presenting Kazuchika Okada the title, his title, the title he retained. We get no one spoken between the two. We get Kazuchika Okada just holding the title high above his head as a challenge to Omega. And with no word spoken, we can see where this is gonna go. Now, I know this isn't gonna happen. I know it isn't, but if this match somehow takes place before the end of the year, we'll have two create match of the year contenders, which in the span of a week, 4 days, 5 days. That's just incredible. Just filled me with a lot of anticipation. All that. We get the commentators. I think Excalibur said this, but I think he meant he said about Kenny, we don't know when Kenny will be here to return to the ring. So he's competing on January 5th at Wrestle Dynasty. What are you talking about? Which he is competing at Wrestle Dynasty January 5th against Gabe Kidd, which is going to be a great match too. But like I say, I think he just met because after that, sometime after that, the commentators make sure to point out Kenny Omega is competing on January 5th at Wrestle Dynasty in Japan. So it's just great. This is actually one of the greatest matches that I've seen. Just go out of your way. If you've seen nothing else on this card, go out of your way to watch this match. Oh, one more thing. Towards the end of the match, Ospreay gets all caught up for a Stormbreaker. And apparently Okada countered. It was so quick, I didn't know he countered. I thought Ospreay had gotten him at that point. But it was just smooth as butter counter, and Okada still your Continental Champion. Like I say, I just wanted to say that because I just remember that and how smooth it was. I didn't even realize it was a counter. So, we're getting a legendary rivalry renewed at some point in the future. I mean, it should be at a big pay-per-view. I'm anticipating it will be. But at some point in the future, we're getting the legendary rivalry renewed. Next up, we get the main event. Jon Moxley sorry about that. We get Jon Moxley, Hangman Page, Jay White, and Owen Cassidy for the AEW title. And this was just you talk about a car crash. This was just a car crash. This was sort of annoying me at the start, because at the start you get Hangman, Jay White, and Owen Cassidy arguing amongst themselves who get Moxley. They may not have been doing that. They may just have been planning out the attack. But still. But Owen Cassidy comes off on Moxley with a dive. They all gang up on Moxley. Claudio Castagnoli comes out because it's a fatal four-way, no disqualification. Claudio comes out to try to save Moxley, to try to drag Moxley away. He doesn't attack the other competitors, I don't really know why, but he just drags Moxley away. And he just is eating Moxley up the ramp. The other three, they fight with Moxley and Cardio and Willie up the ramp. And eventually they get Moxley by ringside, where the announcer table is. These three men hit a triple powerbomb. His still powerbomb on Jon Moxley through the announce table, which I just thought was spectacular. And now it's down to 3. We get Hangman versus Jay White versus Owen Cassidy. It's just a big move after big move between the three men. Eventually Moxley gets back in and it really amps up. Just bucks out the area. Jay White DDT that I can't remember what it's called. Jon Moxley's Death Rider. Just on punches. Some dead eyes, some beach breaks. At one point, we get Hangman and Moxley face to face, and like, oh, this is gonna be good. We get them face to face, and Hangman gets Moxley down. Hangman ends up getting the better of him with Jay White. They end up hitting some dragon screws on the egg. And you have Hangman outside the ring delivering a buck's area to all three men. Not at the same time, but just at the same time would be awesome too, but just one at a time. You get a buck's area. Hangman rolls to the other rope, hits a buck's area, another one, and at the end, when he's going up to Moxley, will you to go to the egg? Like, oh, again. So will you to go to the egg? Will you to pull the egg? Jon Moxley has a chair, but Hangman kicks the chair into Moxley's face. And he hits the buck's area. Hangman gets the pin on Moxley, but the ref gets pulled out of the way gets pulled out the ring by a pretty sore Claudio Castagnoli. So here now, this is just a Mars, it's just a cut, just big move after big move. And I am kind of annoyed because, I know why they did it, but Moxley had help beating, had help retaining the title, Jet Jack that time. And I mean, I get it, but John Moxley, for as much as he talks, should not really need any help retaining the title. But this was a great match for what it was, a great pay-per-view closer for 2024. You get you get the Death Riders getting Jay White up, sort of cornering Jay White. They're gonna bring Kayada opening the chain of the ring, maybe gonna break, maybe gonna Pillmanize him too. FTR comes out, and you think it's just FTR, but no, Adam Copeland comes out. We haven't seen Adam Copeland since he broke his leg against Malachi Black, and I think that was 4 years, but I'm not really sure. But anyway, get them coming out, they fight up Death Riders, Adam gets on the microphone, which the microphone in this doesn't work, which I felt bad for him in that moment. It was a big return, everything in the microphone doesn't work, which I don't know if that was by design or not, because yeah, I can say these men were brawling near the microphone, near the technology area at ringside. So maybe that was a work, I don't know. But eventually Adam Copeland gets the microphone that does work. He says, Moxley, you look at me when I'm talking to you, kid. Me and FTR, we're coming for it all. He didn't explicitly challenge him for the title, but that's where we're headed. So I'm really looking forward to that. And the first episode of Dynamite at 2025, January 3rd, Dreamline on Max. It'll be rated FTR, Adam Copeland, and Dax Wheeler and Kath Harwood versus the Death Riders in a six-man tag team match in the trios match. I can say this was a really good closing pay-per-view. I can definitely see myself watching it again tomorrow, and I don't say that with the other pay-per-views. Not because they're not good, but just because they're young. Oh, and by the way, we only had 8 matches on the card tonight. So that's why that's how I was able to be more expansive in matches than I usually would be. Even though I didn't go through beat for beat. So yeah, I can say this was a really great chosen professional wrestling pay-per-view to kill out 2024. I'm looking forward to 2025. So, guys, I appreciate you getting in to joining me tonight. So I'll see you when I see you. Have a good night and a happy new year.